What does new music or experimental music mean to you? The new music community is a great place for quirky, introverted people to become more socially engaged. I needed a place that was socially structured but conceptually very open in order to thrive, and the new music community ended up being a very good fit for me. 2. How do you work? If I'm interested in expressing my feelings about a certain topic in my music, the first question I ask myself before I approach that topic is, what's my skin in the game? And the answer to that question informs how I approach that topic. If I can't answer the question, I don't write the piece, not because it isn't a piece worth writing, but because I'm not the right person to write it. And if I find I can answer the question, then the answer to that question guides me to the best way for me to proceed, which might end up being slightly different than my first impulse. My piece, Yiddish is My Homeland, which premiered last spring, is a pretty good example of this. I wanted to respond in some way to the crisis in Palestine, but I didn't feel like it was my place to tell the story of the Palestinians. So I started by figuring out whether I had a stake, and if so, what it was. I realized I did have a stake. For one, the atrocities to which I was responding were being carried out in my name and ran in direct contradiction to the values of the Yiddish anarchists, Jewish labor bund, and other radical Jewish traditions that had shaped me. Secondly, as I delved deeper into Jewish history, it became increasingly clear that the decline of diasporic Jewish culture and languages was partly a consequence of the rise of Zionism, which acted actively to suppress cultural diversity amongst Jews. So, by focusing on those things that were pertinent to my experience, I was able to proceed in a way that was genuine to who I am as a stakeholder rather than merely an ally. Now, I certainly don't feel like I have to be the one with the greatest stake to approach a topic. In this case, my stake was certainly smaller than those of many others, but it can't be zero. If it's zero, then I don't think my perspective would really add anything to the discussion. 3. Can you tell me a secret? I spent one unit in fifth grade in special needs gym. I'm not entirely sure why they put me there, but I didn't mind it because I really hated sports. There were only three of us, and the other two had pretty severe developmental disabilities, so I didn't exactly belong there. But then again, I didn't exactly belong in regular gym either. I was the smallest boy in the school by weight, if not by height, and now I'm one of the smallest security officers in the Twin Cities. So I guess my lack of childhood athleticism didn't really end up being too much trouble for me.